Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Midweek Montessori live stream. This is our second live stream today, which is fantastic. I love that I have that many people that I get to talk to about aspects of Montessori education in one day. So today, this afternoon, I welcome Kate Broughton to the live stream, and she is doing a lot of work with researching the intersectionality between Montessori and artificial intelligence, AI. And I think that's fascinating. And I can't wait to talk to her more about that and learn about her upcoming book. So, Kate, welcome. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your knowledge with our community.
Hey, Carolyn. Thank you so much, and thank you, AIM, for this opportunity. My name's Kate Broughton. I'm English, as you can hear, but I have lived in America since 1992, Texas for 26 odd years, and then I'm now in Colorado. And I have a husband who is an ExxonMobil, so that's oil, which is why we were in Colorado, in Texas, and then we have 3 children. And the reason that I am in Montessori at all is because of the expat community with Exxon all put their children in Montessori. It's just what happened. So when we arrived, we were told, here's your dentist, here's your doctor, here's your school. So we didn't question it, but I realized I had landed in heaven, landed in something that was, unbelievable.
What a gift, because usually
It
when you
was.
move to another place, it's a little bit hard to get settled, but to discover Montessori and that experience has been lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been for an educator for 40 years. So when I'd been in England as an educator, but when I came to America, I was a trailing spouse. So I became an artist in residence in the Montessori school and then progressed from there.
Awesome. And then you taught in the elementary level, right? When you were teaching in the classroom?
Yeah, so in the school I was in, in 2007 there was an opportunity to create a new school, and Jim Zimmer of Men's Warehouse funded Kingwood Montessori School. So I co-created it with him and his ex-wife, and we created the Montessori school based on existing lead teachers and families. And I think we're about 17 years old now. So I was the original upper elementary lead for the Kingwood Montessori School, and then I was the director, and then I retired at the end of August in August in 2020. My mum got COVID, and I was planning to get back to England, but I did not make it. So
Oh, so that changed a lot for everyone, I think. And is that
yeah.
when you got to Colorado after 2020?
Well, I don't know if you remember the October of 2020. There was a weird, like a sweet spot of if you're going to do something, do it now. It was like if you're going to escape, do it now. If you're going to like that sort of moment. And so it was a little bit biblical. We literally decided to move and moved and arrived in Colorado in 40 days. We sold our house on the first day. We packed up. We got it all. It's just like all done. So yeah, and our 3 children are up in Colorado. So that we just went, okay, we just need to be there near them as quickly as possible. So
And it
that's
all
what we
worked
did.
out. So that's
Yeah.
very impressive that you were able to
Yeah.
do that. So you're still
Yeah.
working with Montessori. You're serve on the AMS think tank for, is it
Yes.
technology and Montessori, or what is the proper name of that think tank?
Yes, exactly. So the American Montessori Society Innovation Fellowship Think Tank was created so the first cohort was February of 2023. And basically it's 25 educators, researchers, professionals, that sort of leaders who were going to get together, decide on the areas of study that they felt were most sort of pressing at that time. Teacher retention, AI. Well, not AI. It was just technology when we just technology when we started. But there were lots of different important areas. Spiritual preparation of the teacher, of the guide was a huge one. And all the great groups sort of broke into subgroups, and then we researched what we researched, and then we presented at the Montessori event in March of 2024. So the technology group started in technology and very quickly moved to AI, and then that's what we presented at the conference in March last year. And then I was asked to stay. Well, several of us stayed for a second year to finish the work we'd been doing. And so the work that I was doing was the mapping, which I'm going to talk about in a bit, And so I continued that. And then we're presenting. We've got a really big presentation at the event this year in Denver, which is great, in March.
That's so exciting. And so did that work kind of spur your interest in writing a book on AI? Is that what sort of led the way to that point?
Well, okay, so the AI has been my saving grace. I am that child. So you've got to take yourself to a classroom. I'm the child who will never stop, like stop. So I'm doing this and doing that, and I've got 17 projects underway, and I'm always talking, and like I am, I would call it manic, but that sounds like a label, so I'm not going to. But I have my ideas come really fast, and I'm an artist, which is where I started. So when AI arrived, I went, Midjourney AI I literally joined almost immediately that it opened. So I've been doing Midjourney for the whole time. And then ChatGPT, I mean, I just went, okay, I finally have something that can keep up with me. And it literally brings me to tears because if I'm saying, oh my goodness, I have this idea and that idea, and the ChatGPT or whatever AI I'm using, we go, oh, there's this and there's this, and it never judges me. It doesn't say, Kate, enough. Like that's too much. Just stop. It goes, yeah. What else do you want to know? How else do you want it? What else? What other color? Like, it's so that I've met my match, so to speak. I feel I can now get my ideas flowing. So the books were. I have several books now, but they're on the verge of being published. They were musings. They were just me walking. I walk 3 times a week, and I was walking, and I was just recording a thought, and it literally was a thought. It had a beginning and an end, and I said the thought, and I recorded it, and then I transcribed it, and then I put the transcription into ChatGPT and I said, edit for spelling and punctuation only, because the transcription was a one run-on sentence. Does that make sense? No punctuation. And then I put it into the book. So I was recording so many, I mean, I think I had 50 in less than a month. Like, so I went, okay, so I've got to have somewhere for these to go. So I put them in a book.
That is like such an amazing creative process that you've just
Mm.
explained in such that one that would not have been possible really without AI. So to
No.
take musings and to immediately make them tangible,
Mm.
readable, that's brilliant. So
Well, subsequently, I found that ChatGPT is a bit like an old person. It's sorry it starts off really well, and then it kind of forgets what you said in the middle. You said that thing. I think you said that thing, and then at the end it finishes strong. So sometimes you can miss the middle. So there's something called Alice AI, and Alice transcribes really accurately. So I'm learning. I'm learning sort of okay what to trust and what not to trust, and because they're my words, I have the recording, so I can actually prove that I said those words. But because I don't want ChatGPT or any other AI to fiddle with my words. So
right.
I'm still trying to find those apps that are going to be like pristine.
And I think they're going to keep getting more
Oh,
on point,
absolutely.
I think, as we move
1,000%.
on in this journey.
Yeah.
So right before we started, we were chatting a little bit, and I said that I think this is so refreshing because so many people I know who I love, and so many teachers who I know and love, their knee-jerk reaction to AI and the use of AI is immediately no, don't use it, don't go near it, don't explore it, like just avoid it like the plague. And I've used it, and I, like you, was immediately amazed by the capabilities. So I love that you found a way and you're exploring different ways to integrate AI into Montessori principles and like the timeless Montessori kind of philosophy, and then bringing AI into it. So tell me more about that. Tell all of us more about what you've
Mm.
discovered and what your thoughts are on how this works moving forward.
Okay. So the research that I had started was a very simple process of looking. There were two reports. There's a McKinsey report and a World Economic Forum report about schools and education in this age. So I think it's 4.0, schools 4.0, future schools 4.0, and defining skills. So I use those two documents and I condense the two documents into kind of lists or subject areas. And then I put them against, I mean, I literally mapped them directly to, if they were talking about, well, we need social competency. I went, well, yeah, well, we actually teach social competency to our 0 to 3s, like not teach them, but that's the whole deal. I mean, the whole deal is social competency. So that one. So I started just like ruling lines, going, well, that's that, and making a list. And what I realized is there was literally no, if you're a Montessori guide leader or anything associated with Montessori right now, you are literally sitting on the pedagogy. I said it to Carolyn just a minute ago. You're sitting on the pedagogy for this age, for the age of AI, because our didactic materials, our materials that students touch every day, are already instilling, teaching, guiding children for the competencies needed in the age of AI. So things like, if I say pattern recognition and sequencing, sounds a bit fancy. You know, oh, well, you're talking about AI. Well, no, children recognize patterns in the classroom all the time. That's a whole lot of the work. You know, puzzles, or we have the knob cylinders, or we have the pink tower, or we have, like, it's all patterns. It's all pattern recognition. And sequencing, you put them in a sequence. But I think what's happening is we go, no, scary, terrible. However, if I was saying again to you, Carolyn, earlier, I was saying I live in Colorado, and I could look out of the window and go, well, there's a whole lot of rocks out there. Or knowing I'd been in Texas for 26 years, where it was hot and black, I look out here and go, this is heaven on earth. So it's all perception. So if we actually stopped and observed our classroom, with or without the children, doesn't matter, and say, okay, what is actually happening with those materials that is a fundamental skill, is a foundational skill. And we can go into any, all of the research with AIM's teacher education, all of the training that we give our students. If we just had literally a lens, a little AI lens symbol on the corners of the pages, and say, okay, the AI lens here is pattern recognition. The AI lens here is X. So you could very easily not change any of our handbooks for any of the Montessori training, but have, just for a while, because it won't be forever, and we'll all realize how miraculous and superhuman we are. But we just got to get this understanding of who we are, because we already do the work. Because when you go further, I'll read you I've got a list. Well, no, anyway, the mapping work is now at a stage where we're presenting it in March, and then it'll be released. I can release it to everybody. But it basically, in the booklet I've created, it has, pattern recognition and sequencing, and then it's got the work in the classroom that already matches that, and then the things you can do to sort of like the ways you can speak about it or how you can communicate. So 0 to 3, and then 3 to 6, of course, no screens, 0 screens. That's not a problem. 0 to 3, the teacher understanding what the materials are actually doing would make a difference. Because as a parent walks in the classroom and the parents can say, well, what are you teaching my child about AI? How are they going to be prepared? I'm really concerned. And all the guide needs to do is look at, there's about 7, I think, bullet points, and we can have them printed on the wall and just go, no, we're teaching that this is what they're getting in our materials. And then 3 to 6, we include digital citizenship as a practical life skills. So you just made beautiful trays. There's a lady called Desislava Stoeva from Sofia University, and she has, as part of her research, she created shelf-ready materials to go on the practical life shelf for early childhood. I think she calls it primary, and zero screen. That is zero screen, and they're the most beautiful things. And again, I can share that link. Yes. But she's just so nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. I mean, there was a lovely one which was a box with 4 petitions, a wooden box, and the one top right hand corner there was a picture of mum and dad. Top left hand corner was a picture of some friends. Bottom right was maybe a picture of a doctor, and bottom left was of I'm sorry to say, an unknown shady figure. Like it was a stranger. It was like that. Shady, don't know. So the first piece of paper out of the little bag was, who should know my name and address? And you go, well, mum knows my name and address. Well, dad knows I live with them. No, they don't. My friend might need to know my name and address. Yeah. The doctor's got it because mum and dad will have shared that. I don't need to share my name and address with the doctor because mum and dad would do that. And then if there's this strange person, like, why would the strange person need to know my name and address? So this little piece of paper goes in the box which said friends. I'd like my friends to know where I live so they can come and play. But it was simple things like that. Justice Lava also had a printed piece of paper that said Google. It was literally that Google search bar. So
Right.
the page, and then you have, I mean, I can't remember her specific questions, but your search could be for an oak tree, and then out of a little packet that matches the oak tree would be, the first piece would be a tree. And you go, well, is a tree enough to tell somebody or tell the Google to give me an oak tree? Well, it's not. So I now need to say the leaf shape. I maybe need to add the type of nut or seed. And then gradually, and then when you add 2 or 3 pieces together, then you'll get an oak tree. So it teaches children how to make sure their searches are comprehensive. They're not just going, give me a dog and expecting it to be a golden retriever, that you actually have to give it more information when you're putting in the question or the prompt. So and another one was a tray with I think it was an old-fashioned flip phone, 2 bits of felt and a needle and thread, and you had to make yourself a phone case. And I went, oh my God, I just wanted to keep. I mean, so those materials are going to be recreated for the Montessori event. We're going to have just as Lava's materials. And then there are 11 people in the team that we're creating. It's called Innovation Labs. It's available. You can see it on the AMS website for Innovation Labs and what we're up to. And we've got, yes, 11 different educators who are bringing in materials that they're already using in the classroom. There seem to be, and I'm not included in this because so people who've been working in technology or trying to have the conversation in Montessori for digital citizenship, how are we going to allow our children to feel safe to explore the technical and digital world? And it is safety
Mm-hmm.
because our ontology, who we're being in the classroom as educators, if we have any hint of, oh my goodness, and that was going to be really scary, and I don't know, and you shouldn't be using that, and did you use it? Like, whatever happens is happening over here is the communication.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you say, yeah, of course you can do that. Your whole body has just said, no, don't do that. That's horrible. So, it's just, you're going to be really, really, well, it's the spiritual preparation of the guide to follow the child and to not bringing their stuff into the conversation. And there are some, I mean, there's Dana Anderson is one of our group, and she was working with Common Sense Media, and she is she's really, really focused on youth voices. She wants us to hear from our students. And then Sam Glistine, who is with AI educators, which is a great app as well. So both of those are programs you can search and use. But Sam is really focused on policy and protecting our children. So, if you want to know how to write the policy for your AI for your school, then it's AI educators. I think it's AIeducation.com will give you the answers. And then Common Sense Media is being used by many schools to give those basic digital, well, no, not advanced digital citizenship lessons. And because it's what we're saying is if we're following the child and there are zero screens until 6 years old, for us, for my school, we would teach on the Chromebooks. They would have basic, care of a Chromebook, how to charge it, how to, etc. How to take care of the keyboard. So they have that's digital citizenship, but it's practical life as we go into elementary. And there's no rush to use computers. There's no rush to use technology in elementary. It's just, a very gradual evolution till, if again, from my situation in my school, we were talking about PowerPoints, etc., presentations, videos, etc., by upper elementary. But if you've been a technologist in the world of Montessori for a long time, it's been for you, it's been an unsafe place. So, which is weird because Montessori for me is 100% ontology. It's the study of being.
Mm-hmm.
It's just who you're being. And if you're just being, existing, and observing, and the child can just be themselves, exist, and become who they're going to become, then there's actually no there's no space for judgment about. I mean, it's like having our alumni. Is it Elon? No, Larry Page and Sergey Brin and Bill Gates and all the sort of techie people who have gone through the system. If one of them had been in our classroom and we had gone, oh, what are you doing? No, don't do that. No, we don't like that idea. That's no, no, Jeff Bezos, you're not allowed to do this. It's just ridiculous. What do you, I mean, and it's weird because, obviously then it's not because they're perfect. They're certainly not, the Google, I think was it Don't Be Evil, that tagline? And it's not anymore. It's just that changed. But it's just I think we've got to come to nothing. We've got to come to no opinion, no judgment. Allow the children to understand the world in which they live, and that's pretty much it. And then and not to force anything. Definitely not to run out and I say this, but I actually really want to make one. It's a three-part card for AI. I really want to make that set. But I mean, but this is what we're doing in our schools. Like I think every school, every teacher, every leader, especially of teacher education centers, in fact, if it came from teacher education centers to make a material, any material for an AI competency, so choose a competency and make the material that matches that, but then we had somewhere they can upload that material for common use and make it commons, Creative Commons, and say, and build a materials bank, like literally create a materials bank. And if you've got millions of educators all over the world, which you do, you can say, look, what are you doing? How are you teaching binary code, or how are you teaching algorithmic thinking, or how are you teaching what's the other one? Digital literacy, just digital citizenship. How are you teaching it? Great. Create materials, upload it here. And maybe you could have a teacher to teacher for teachers where they get a little bit of tip jar type thing. But this is the time where all of us get to be in following Maria's, like she's a wild woman. I mean, she was a wild woman. I think her first classroom, she was about 36 years old when she made her Casa de Bambini.
I think
36. I mean, my daughter is that age. And if she was creating a new pedagogy to transform the world, I'd be really, really excited. But it's you can, and she's doing. She's a Montessori. My oldest daughter's a Montessori. Well, all of them are Montessori kids, so they're doing their thing. But oh my goodness, when I think about what Maria did, what Maria Montessori did, if we've got safe, I think we've got safe and comfortable and cozy in our Montessori classrooms, and we don't want them to change, and it's really, really snuggly. But actually, that's not the work. It's just not the work. The
and
work is to follow the child.
they're going to go into the adolescent program and then go into the world as a student in college or whatever they choose to do, and then be an adult, and they need to be able to navigate these digital landscapes successfully and intelligently, because some of the mistakes, and we've seen this publicly, some of the mistakes you can make in navigating these environments can haunt you, right? Can really be a detriment to your future in a lot of ways. So teaching them early, and I love those materials as like this really safe way to get them to start critically thinking about how to accomplish things in that digital landscape. So
There's also an amazing book by now I'm going to remember her name, Sarah Kennedy Burge, Berge. She has written a book on AI, Montessori technology, with cosmic education. So she's aligned those. It's available on Amazon.
okay.
Literally, it's only just been released in the last month or so. So, and she lives in Oslo, I believe. She's very well backed, incredibly thorough. The book is incredible, and it's all very practical. It's very hands-on. So it shows you step by step. Here's the material you already have in your classroom. Here's another step to take. This is what you can do. So brilliant. So that, yeah, I think those two people are just rock stars. And then So the thing I say a lot is that Montessorians are the gatekeepers to physical reality.
Hmm.
So we cannot, and if we have a platform, we're standing on the platform of hands first, nature first, reality first. So that's up, for me. I mean, this is all my thoughts, but reality first. So if you go hands first, and that the sort of relationships, sort of nature relationships, and a reality. So if we bundle those together and go like, if we always start there with whatever work we're doing, and then follow the child in terms of what they are seeing, what they'd like, another step they'd like to take. Because we have to realize that our classrooms are filled with children whose parents are in the AI or technology field. Like it's kind of ridiculous to think our children will come in all squeaky clean and pristine from the world, but they won't. They come in knowing that dad just talked about this amazing thing, or mum just designed this incredible machine, or like they have that at home. Or mum and dad are going, oh, have a look at this. This is really exciting. You can play with this. So children are being exposed to all sorts of experiences. It could be some VR glasses. It could be whatever. So when they get to our school, which they absolutely definitely should do, come to Montessori, um, we don't want to look as though we have any judgment for the parents, because if we're saying no technology, no A, no nothing, then that is automatically going to wrong or judge the parents who might be in that field. And so the child's going to feel trapped, thinking, well, in group, in elementary, our upper elementary group have always been rock stars, and they come up with the most amazing conversations. Um, they have conversations, like there was one about how much of your body has to be replaced before you are no longer human. We were talking about people coming back from the the wars in the Gulf, and there were people we were hearing about people had both legs, both arms replaced with prosthetics, and then maybe you've got an eye and an ear, and we were just adding in the conversation, adding body parts until the person in our mind was 95% replaced. And at which point half the group went, well, then they're no longer human. That's obvious. They're a robot. But the other half said, no, no, no. No, of course they're human with this consciousness and spirit and soul. And so, but those conversations can be had safely, safely in a space where the children don't have to edit. Oh my goodness, my guide doesn't like me talking about X, Y, or Z. Doesn't, oh, there are no-go subjects. Oh no, we can't talk about. No, that's obviously not safe. Or like with use of AI, coming to, I'm not in the classroom. It would have been fun to be in the classroom right now, because if you start with, I'm assuming you've experimented with AI on this document, when they turn in their incredibly advanced academic paper as a sixth grader, and then you say, well, can you tell me your first prompt? Can you tell me what happened when you looked at that first prompt? Did you like it? What did you change? How did you reiterate? And then what was your new prompt? And then once you've done that, how many prompts did you do? And can you like sort of ask them the process? What did they change? Did they like the voice? How did they add to it? What did you add more questions? So you become collegiate. You're having an academic conversation about someone's process, rather than telling them, don't start the process. Don't start the process. You're wrong and bad. If you always assume they're using it, I mean, it might be a child actually produces something, a paper, and they didn't touch AI ever, and you're saying no, this is AI, and the child's saying no, it's not. So that's going to break relationships very quickly between a teacher and a guide if you're having the conversation of did you, didn't you. So I think if we just say, this is part of our world. If you use it, just cite it. Just tell us how you used it, which one, how did you use your prompts, and just make it normalized. I'm hearing in colleges that they're saying, well, the only real test of someone's knowledge is you and me in a room and nothing else. Just so you and me talking together. I will find out what you know. I'm not going to give you a paper or a quiz or anything. I just you and me in a room. I will find out.
I love the idea of normalizing it, because I think it does. I don't think there's a college professor or high school teacher that has not I mean, I encountered it many, many, many times and will continue to encounter it. So the idea of asking about that process and improving the process and the way that you're interacting with AI, that's such a great learning tool for them to realize that, yes, you can use it and you probably will use it throughout your life and in your career, but you need to use it responsibly and you need to add your voice and edit and, work with it as a tool. So,
Well, last year we started Tech Talks. So the AMS started the Tech Talks, and we have had speakers like Christian Pinedo for AI educators, and then Jane Park from Google Families Division, and Eric Rodriguez from Intel. And we had all the speakers because we needed to know. We need to get some expert support here. And they all spoke, but then our last panel, very close to my heart, were the students. And we had a group of students, had 6 students to come and talk to educators, and we asked them questions about their AI use and what they thought and whatever. And the biggest takeaways were, we need you as a school and an educational body to get your act together and tell us what the policy is. We want the whole school policy. We don't want class 201 allows it and class 5 doesn't. We don't want that. We want a policy. Everybody stick to it. We all know where we are, because the students were genuinely scared to get it wrong. They had too much respect for their own work to have it besmirched by being told, oh, you used AI, or having any sort of doubt. So they said it's either yes or no, and then very, very clear guidelines. They don't ever want their personal assessments to be written by AI. If it's badly spelled and humanly written, they're very happy. They want an entirely human report. They
oh,
want it to be personal and intimate and weird and funny and added in the story. They want it human. They don't want it to be a squeaky clean AI report. Um, and then the other thing is, they said they actually don't want to use AI for essay and report writing, because why? Like, why? They can do that really. They've been trained so well through Montessori, they're really good at writing, so that's not a but they can research, that's fine. But they also said that they want to, when they get stuck on a question, like understanding something, they want to have the freedom to put that into ChatGPT or whatever, and get an answer and go, oh, no, okay, that makes sense, and then carry on their research. So it jump starts little pieces of their ideation. And then they also they had zero in the way of using AI images for every single thing that moves, PowerPoints and letters and poems. They said no, we shouldn't have to have to draw or whatever. We'd rather use AI images and put those in. So they said, yeah, that's okay, that's not a problem.
interesting. So when can we read your book and how can we get our
Right.
hands on it when it comes out?
Okay, so I've gone through a bit of a journey through. I've been waiting for book publishers to take it up, to take the books up, and I've been waiting too long. So I've actually decided to start a publishing company,
I love this.
a self-publishing company. So it's a self-publishing company. It's called Follow the Child Self-Publishing Limited, and I'm going to publish the books under that. So they will come out by the end of February. As I said, I've been waiting, and also I didn't want to. I'm with the think tank until February 15th, so I didn't want to blur the edges. I want to make sure that's a clean finish, and then this is very separate to it, because these have gone. The ideas have gone in very many different ways, which you will see when they get published. So yeah, they're actually, so Montessori and AI was 2 books, and then there's one called Create Montessori, which means any school environment. Here are the principles. This is the why of the principles, and then sort of basically sharing how it is right now type of thought, and how it could be. So most of them were quite polite for a while. I was very polite, but then I started being a bit more pokey in the Create Montessori. I've been a public educator, so I know the challenges of teaching in a public school. I worked in inner city schools, and what they call sink schools, which were the harder schools to work in, and so I know the challenges, but Montessori has so many principles that are just, I mean, and we know Montessori is in the public system, but it's not allowed its free reign. So anyway, so yeah, there's Create Montessori, and then there are several others. So yeah, you'll see soon.
Perfect. And we would love to, help you market those and share those with our audience and,
Thank you.
get a place to sell them. We have a website too. So if you,
Perfect. Oh, Amazon. Sorry, they're going to be on Amazon. Sorry about that. Yeah.
perfect. Well, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I can't wait to read them and learn more. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that your presentation at AMS is going to be really insightful. So if you're watching and you're going to AMS, be sure to catch that session. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Is there anything else you'd like to give some final thoughts about, anything that anybody that has hesitation about using AI or about what we've discussed here today, or anything else that you'd like to share as final thoughts?
Yeah, so we anything from the last 25 years, if you've been in education at any point in the last 25 years, there's a likelihood of we all being in a trauma response. We are just living in a trauma response. Um, and I mean, leaving a school is terrifying, especially in COVID. It's that sort of like, but we don't, as leaders, as educators, we override our trauma to be there for children. However, our children also know they're in trauma too. So, we're all in the same boat. So I think uh, I'm really serious about researching ontology as a Montessorian. So ontology is literally the study of being, the study of existence. If we can learn the tools to just be, and it's not meditation and breathing and all that stuff, because you can do that, that's all fine, and it gets you somewhere, it gets us somewhere. But actually there's a step to take where we have the tools, a way of clearing, so you can actually clear everything you're concerned by. So the exercise I'm going to do at the conference is a clearing exercise. It's saying, okay, what's the whole situation with the AI? What's the whole situation, which could be terrifying or confusing or frustrating. But then who are people for you? Who are people? That means people in AI, or the head of school, or the head of TEP, or your parents, or who other people, your children, anybody. Who are people for you? Which means people are rude and mean and frustrating, and the sorts of things that you would say as a child. That's usually where our judgments get stuck. So you just keep speaking until you can't think of anything else. And then you say, well, who am I for them? That's the fun one. So I'm babyish and silly and and we just say all the things we feel. But actually, there's a point where you're clear, where you actually said everything and you can't think of anything else to say, which is then when you create an opportunity. And the opportunity could just be peace or love or kindness or clarity, or it doesn't really matter. But if we get in the habit of clearing and teach each other how to clear with us, we won't bring all that mental weight, gravity to every single situation where we're discussing AI, whether it's with a parent or educator or a child or whatever. Because we bring all of this is thrown at the child, even though we don't think it is. Children get it all. They get our fears and judgments and things. So.
And I think that process could probably be used for a lot of things that we're carrying, not just so I'm
it's very quick as well. You can do it in less than a minute when you've highly trained people. When you train someone around you, you can go, right, situation is this, this is how they are, this is how I am done, opportunity is this, off we go. Quick.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much. I've learned so much, and you've given me so much more to think about moving forward. So if anybody has questions, there's been some comments on Instagram. Thank you for commenting. If anybody has questions for Kate, if you want to leave them on the live stream feeds, I can forward them to her and she can see them. We're happy to engage with any musings you have on AI, or questions you have, or ideas about how we can share resources to share on us all. So I love your idea of like a resource library for Montessorians. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and
thank you.
Appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you to AIM, and thank you to all the teachers who are doing the hardest work and the most beautiful work in the world. So thank you.
Truly. All right. Thank you everyone for watching, and we hope that you have a lovely afternoon and rest of January. Have a good day.
Bye.